did Hofstede give us words? The words we needed to be able to describe how culture defines communication. The people we spoke to told us how Hofstede's work affected their professional and personal lives. A researcher, an educator, an entrepreneur, and some students will tell us about the Hofstede Effect.
Everybody's using him, even the people that criticize him a lot, everybody uses. Even people that are very, very negative about him, they use him a lot. So his contribution is great.
I think when we learn about Hofstede at the first block, and then we understand our own culture first, and then we differentiate it with another culture like Dutch culture or Ukraine culture, and then we know more about each other, and then along with that we know more about ourselves. Like I know my country, my culture is very collectivistic, very high context. I know the word to call it, and then I feel that okay, I understand more about myself, about my culture, and where am I in my culture. So I think it's very important to learn more about it.
There are of course many scholars who are used by management consultants, so you could say to my regret it's not so that all or most management consultants in the field of intercultural management are using Hofstede. I think that should be the case because his contribution in science in this field has been enormous.
Do people around the world talk about how wonderful Professor Hofstede is? Do they praise him in that sort of way? Well, that's not so significant in a way. It's when he does a presentation. He did a presentation in Tallinn, Estonia last week, and there was no room to stand, or no room to sit in the regular seats. The room was all so crowded, and that's always the case. People will be saying his work is very problematic and needs to be improved, but everyone is paying a huge amount of attention still to what he's done. And this is a reasonably teachable, understandable, well-documented way of thinking about culture that pretty much everybody in any business school encounters. Well, any student does in fact encounter Professor Hofstede's work. So, and I've often tried to encourage its use and its use.
I was with the same student in Turkey. They invited me to have a conference there. And there was a girl, after the conference, it was in Turkey, there were 40 Turkish people. I had an applause at the end of my conference, and this Dutch girl, a student, came to me and he took my cheek and he said, "Goed zo, Jochie, good boy," when in front of everybody in Turkey. She took my cheek and said, good boy. And I saw the Turkish professor with this eye, looking at her, what's that? And they came to me, what's that? Yeah, this is Holland, you know. She came to me, good boy. This is impossible. In Turkey, it's impossible. A student go to the professor with a cheek, good boy. No, it's...
Well, I could imagine, but it may take still perhaps another 20 to 50 years. These processes go very slow, and that it will become common know-how. You don't need to explain the dimensions anymore.
He gives the words and a scheme to describe reality, and I agree completely with his theories. Every great writer is giving me a larger horizon, a little bit.
He's stayed active. He's just stayed active, and he's stayed helpful, and he's been responsive to more or less anyone who would benefit from his help, and that's very demanding on somebody, you know, to do for all of your life. And yeah, he's taken on that responsibility and continued to maintain it when I think many people might want to rest. That's been unusual to persist, and yeah, he feels a need sort of in the world for somebody to be able to comment about culture sorts of issues, and I hope that some other people can help take up that load as time goes on, you know, rather than demanding of him all the time for forever. Yeah.